There is an indefinable, mysterious power that pervades everything.
That power that can make a way out of no way.
Today, in the world, there's so much suffering because of that one of prayer.
Welcome to the main event.
Welcome, everybody, to the Prayer Revolution, your daily prayer podcast. So glad you are here with us. I am Doyal, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Vira, and we're here to say our daily morning prayer, and we have a discussion about it. Brief little chit-chat about the mood of prayer in our daily lives, and we're happy to have you with us. All of our beautiful friends joining us on Instagram Live. Sukanti Grungi just joined in, and we got a bunch of live Zoomers here, people tuning into our live Zoom audience and chat board, and all you people out there in podcast land. Really glad you're with us. How you doing, Vera?
I'm doing good. Just scrolling through the names, seeing all of our friends, so many different people tuning in,
Is
and
it inspiring?
it's inspiring. Absolutely, it's inspiring. Good morning, Mama. It's good to see you.
Vera's mom is joining us. She's become a special regular guest.
I'm seeing my mom more than I've ever seen her in the last 10 years of my life. So it's a great boon. The prayer revolution is bringing me closer to my mama. Yeah. Super grateful to be with you guys this morning and looking forward to diving in. We set the tone for our day every morning. When we wake up, the first thoughts that come through our mind, the first things that we do in our day set the tone, right? It's like whatever it may be, whether those thoughts are positive or negative, they have a tendency to build on each other. It's just like this never-ending flow of thought. So we pause, we take our mornings, 9 a.m. each day to pause and to reflect on actually, how do we want to consciously go forward in our day? How do we want to consciously go forward? And the prayer revolution, we say we want to go forward with God. We want to go forward in a greater connection with our higher power, and with clear intention, with conscious intention in our life, so that our thoughts they're thoughtful. They're not just random, potentially self-defeating, limiting beliefs, but they're actually intentional and empowering. So start a day like that. I'm gonna ask you guys, anyone that's joining in right now, pause. Let's hit the pause button. Thank you, Vivi. Let's hit the pause button. I know some of you guys are at work and you're just taking a few minutes break. So let's just pause just for these couple minutes, and you can put your hands together if that resonates with you. Otherwise, just get comfortable in your seat and open yourself up to receive. Beautiful, nice deep breaths. Love it, DG. Yes, yes. Those full body breaths. Breathing in that life force without it, just a few minutes without oxygen in our blood, without prana circulating through our body, this body ceases to exist. Our life leaves this body. This incredible gift from Mother Nature, this incredible gift of God. Our body automatically taking in this most vital nutrient to keep us going, keep our heart pumping. Let's set our intention. What is it that we want to bring into today? What state of consciousness do I want to bring into my life today, into the world today? Knowing that the state of consciousness that I'm in has an effect on my environment, has an effect not only just in my home and not only just in the people that are right around me, but it has a ripple effect. Even if it's a small ripple effect, it has a ripple effect through the entire universe that can touch the hearts of people without even knowing it. So what do you want to bring in to your day today? Those qualities of your true knowing self: love, compassion, grace, forgiveness, tolerance, urgency, service, understanding, whatever those qualities are. Bring that into your consciousness today. You're committed to bringing that into the rest of your day today. My dear Lord, your beautiful son, Dr. Martin Luther King, once shared, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. My Lord, please help us to connect to love for you, to connect to the natural state of love that exists within our hearts. Help us to connect to that light that exists within each of our hearts and souls. As we're praying to you as a little community right now, a small group of your children, we're praying to be courageous in our lives, in the way that we love, in the way that we keep allowing our light to shine. We don't give in to darkness. We don't give in to hate. We don't give in to despair. We tap into our connection with you. And through all circumstances and all situations, you help us to connect to that love which is limitless, which is boundless. You help us to connect to that light that no matter what tries to cover it, it keeps shining through. As a little family right now, we pray not just for ourselves, but we pray for each other. We pray for each other, people that we may or may not know, people that we may have never seen before in our life. We pray for everybody on this group right now, and we pray for the entire world. We pray for every person right now that is feeling they don't have a choice but to give into that hatred. They're feeling they don't have a choice but to give into that darkness. It's overpowering them. That we pray collectively today, please help them to break through. Please help them to connect to your power, which helps them to transform their hearts. And let all of our hearts be transformed today. That light is what's going to bring light into this world. The love that's sitting dormantly in our heart, that's what's going to transform the other hearts around this world. And just by us cultivating our relationship with you, our connection with you, just humbly calling out, we begin to awaken those great qualities, those divine qualities within our own heart. And so we pray for each other, we're praying for ourselves, we're praying for everybody on this planet. Please touch their hearts. Please help them to be able to break through the darkness, break through the hatred, to let that love and that light shine through all circumstances. We call out your holy names every single day. We call out with sincerity from our heart, knowing that when we connect to you, that love and light shines through us. We become vessels and instruments of that grace to shine through our own hearts, to shine through our words and our thoughts and our actions. Please empower us to connect to that love and light as we call out your holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Vira. Thank you so much.
Thank you, DG.
Thank you for sharing your heart.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity.
Want to share more where your heart's coming from this morning? And
I just shared it.
Thank you. I was yesterday. We were having some conversations and a lot of questions and chats and thoughts were coming up in the chat board, I remember. And we said we would pick up on those today because we were getting conversation. We weren't able to address all of them, right? And then we said at the end of it, we always say we're going to pick up where we left off, and then we never do.
I'm proud of you, Doyle. I'm proud of you.
I'm trying.
Brent even sent us an email and everything.
Brent sent us a transcript. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Christian, I'm just trying to just kind of go through it all.
Mm-hmm.
Remind me where we left off, Vera.
Where we left off. Hmm. I don't exactly remember.
I remember, there was, I mean, there were specific requests for us to be talking about what's going on in the world today. I don't think it's just us. I think everybody's speaking about the injustice that took place with the murdering of George Floyd. And where I remember bringing from was this idea of coming out of denial. A lot of people, and
Mm-hmm.
I got a beautiful letter from my friend, our friend Monique, who is a member of the Bucky Center community that no longer lives in New York, but she's been a friend of ours for a long time in and out of New York City. Um, a very wonderful, beautiful soul, Black lady, and a devotee of Krishna. And she wrote to us just kind of saying how uncomfortable the topic may be specifically for white people to be trying to address, you know, and how important it is to bring people of color into these conversations. And I think that something that we normally try to do is um, try to assume that, like, okay, I have some answer, I need to figure things out, you know? And I think that sometimes the best thing that we can do is to, what are the voices that I want to be leaning into that can help inform me about what people's actual experiences are, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that for all of us, if we're wondering, at the minimum, what can I be doing at this time? What could I be doing at this time? At the very minimum, we could be actively trying to invite people in our life from oppressed populations and just being like, and inviting dialogue to experience. She was her email was inviting to like you're mentioning, this beautiful quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and bringing in perspective from either Black figures throughout history or just people that we know in current day. And so I was just reflecting on her email and appreciating it. And I think a lot of people were asking us to speak about the issue. And I think a good place to sometimes start is with our own self-awareness and humility, that, hey,
Mm-hmm.
we're two white guys talking about racial injustice in America, and it's important for us to also just recognize our limitation, you know, and that we can offer our perspective, but we really hope that I believe that the solution moving forward has to involve a diverse um, amount of voices in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of where we left off yesterday, and where some of the comments I got picking up in between. Your mama wrote, left off with the frustration of the Black Lives Matters movement's emphasis that we avoid all life matters since it diminishes their message. Laura Zales, I highly recommend listening to Austin Channing Brown. Racial injustice is based on body identification. She's a power preacher with wonderful messages to hear. I was listening to this beautiful sermon yesterday by this is a Christian pastor. He lives in New York. He runs a church in New York City. His name's Carl Lentz, and he's young. He's around our age, and has a very strong, powerful voice. Also very compassionate, very very known for just being kind of relevant and in touch with current social issues. And he was talking about this idea of all lives matter, and he was questioning this idea of when Jesus preached the Sermon on the Mount. You know, Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, that he said it's obvious that all lives matter, but because there are certain populations that are experiencing that aren't experiencing that privilege of seeing as if their lives matter, we need to focus on those certain issues. So when Jesus said, "Blessed are the poor," the audience didn't speak up and say, "No, blessed are all people, Jesus." You know, blessed are the meek, for they will inherit. No, blessed are all people, Jesus. It's like, no, let's focus on those populations that are falling outside of this ideology. And so And so I think that, I was finding that inspiring, this idea that to simply mention that all lives matter, that's kind of should be a given. But what does it mean to actually like be implementing that in our day-to-day lives? Krishna, all these comments are coming in.
Yeah. When there's, you're touching on it, and that it just means that, we actively seek that out, because from a place of privilege, oftentimes there's a complacency that comes in because our life is good and we're taken care of. We have the food that we need. We have the shelter that we need. We have, just the, walking through the world, and having a certain experience that so many of those needs are met. And so, blessed are the meek, and to be able to actually see that the individuals who are struggling and are suffering in this world, whatever that may be, we're talking specifically about something very pointed right now that's coming to a head, and that is that has not been addressed deeply at the root for forever, as far back as I can recall historically. And so that's the opportunity, right? That's the opportunity for personal transformation, where definitely, if I'm not asking myself the question, because I was looking at different quotes from Martin Luther King, and just always been inspired by him, by his sermons, and such power, like a lion, in his preaching and his compassion. And if we're not, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Right? That's the gift that every one of us has. That's the gift of life. The gift of life is not in accumulation, and it's not just in receiving and getting and taking, but the true gift of life is to recognize I have something to give and to act on that. That's where we experience the greatest fulfillment, the greatest happiness. Anybody that can remember those times in their life where they forgot themselves, it's because why do we forget ourselves? We forget ourselves because we're absorbed in the thought of another person. And when that's done in love, when that's done, out of that selfless place in our heart, which we can all access at any time in our life, we can all access that. That's the greatest fulfillment, right? That's the true greatest fulfillment and that's what the teachings of Bhakti are saying. That's the nature of our soul. So when we act in accordance with that and alignment with that, we begin to experience the nature of our soul, and so that's what, as you're sharing that, it's just like we all constantly have to ask that question. And now it's just coming like a little more pressure, where it's like, hey, like I've been suffering, and like, I don't think you've seen that, and it's like, okay, I haven't seen that. I haven't recognized that. And okay, now my duty in my own life, if I want to experience fulfillment, it's a selfishness to be selfless, right? It's like, if I actually am looking for pleasure and fulfillment in my life, if I'm looking for it on the deepest level, it's when my heart goes out for somebody else in compassion. That's when I'm going to experience it. And so that is, right. It's like that's the question every one of us gets to ask. What are we doing for others? That's the question always. And now it's even more pressurized, and it's focused. We're focusing on a specific group of our brothers and sisters that have felt injustice and oppression. And so we have this incredible opportunity to actually step forward. And that's our own transformation. That's for our own good and our own welfare. And because it's the nature of our soul, it's good for everybody else. It has a quality that's actually uplifting for everybody else. It's uplifting for the whole world. So
there was on both Instagram and also on the chat board on Zoom, the analogy of the firefighter was coming up. That if there's a house burning, you don't spray water on all the houses. And what are you doing? Why are you spraying water on all the houses? It's like, well, all houses matter. It's like, no, but this house is burning. This is the burning house. Put the water here. You know what I mean? And so I think that when we look at like all lives matter, it's true, but there are certain lives that are burning right now. And so we need to put energy there. And I think that's sort of the analogy. I hadn't heard the analogy before, but I really resonate and appreciate it very, very, very much. Yeah. Were you going to say it?
The greatest.
Go ahead.
What's that?
Are you going to say something?
The greatest challenges, the greatest difficulties, the greatest places of suppression, the greatest, wherever that is, there's the greatest opportunity to serve, right? And that where there's the greatest opportunity to serve, let us be drawn there. Let all of us be drawn there. We're a little, we have our group each day that comes on, we get, maybe 30 or 40, 50 people come on. And for each of us, it's like, yeah, we're churning our own heart. That's what's happening right now. That's spiritual life. Spiritual life isn't silent meditation that's just for ourselves. Spiritual life is the cleansing of our heart, the cleansing of our consciousness, so that compassionate nature of our soul that's dormant, it's not necessarily active, it's dormant oftentimes, that we wake that up, that we churn that, and then we move into action in our own unique and individual ways. Where's the area where there's the greatest need, and where is our heart genuinely being called to? That alignment, when that takes place, that's the greatest fulfillment that we're going to experience in our life. Service that's according to our unique nature, in the places and in the hearts of the people that are experiencing suffering. And so that is that's my conviction. That's what I believe, and I'm sticking to it. And we'll keep working on myself, and keep praying for you guys, keep praying for the world, and like that, that we continue. We all need each other's prayers. We all.
Yeah. Today, tomorrow, and Sunday, I'm hosting an event that's happening online for
you guys. Zoe, just in closing, a beautiful, yes, this is a process. It's forever. It's not something that's just right now for the next 2 weeks, next month. No, it's a process. This is a process of transforming our conscience, transforming our hearts. And